dangers, side effects, and benefits of Kundalini Awakening. So what's up, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about some of the dangers and pitfalls to be aware of on the path of Kundalini Awakening, as well as looking at some of the benefits to why you may want to start a regular yoga practice and begin the process of awakening your Kundalini. Now, for many people, this happens naturally. This can also happen naturally. So for someone, or has a spontaneous awakening, I could say. So if someone has a spontaneous awakening, usually they end up on more of the negative side of these symptoms, of these, complications that come up in their lives. So I want to definitely clear away any of the misconceptions and the fears around that, and bring about the awareness also to how Kundalini helps us in our life once we really stabilize and ground into this energy in our awakening. So when it comes to your Kundalini, one of the most dangerous things that we could say about it is the potential of life force energy. So it has the potential to create life, but it also has the potential to destroy life or take life. In the sense of our life force, people use their life force even in the darker side of spirituality. They're using that creative potential to potentially destroy others, or to put others down, or all these, things that we could look at in that way. Now, we're not talking about too much of that necessarily, but it is something to be aware of in the realm of awakening spiritually, is that there are forces out there that don't always have your best interest in mind. Some call these entities, whatever you want to look at them as, thought forms even, and then realizing that, we are basically just receivers and transmitters of information and energy. There's good energy and there is what you could say negative energy. So let's get that out of the way. In non-duality, in Tantra, we see the whole reality. We don't see just the love and light. We don't just see all the good stuff and the fun times and yay, everything's perfect on earth, when it's clearly not, and we see the state of the world and all these things. And people say, oh, you create your reality. Yes, and that's why you should focus on the positive. So this is where we're learning to discern. And this is actually a benefit of Kundalini Awakening, is actually learning to discern the polarities of positive and negative, and seeing that we need all of it. Like when you have a negative experience, it can actually teach you something about yourself to bring about a new positive quality. So say you're having certain Kundalini symptoms. For people that practice particularly the Western New Age Kundalini yoga taught by Yogi Bhajan and all that stuff, and there is all sorts of complications with who he was as a person. And I'm not trying to judge any one teacher or one thing. No one's perfect here. But realize that a lot of those teachings that the West is teaching as Kundalini Yoga are very forceful techniques. They may have a lot of traditional yoga mixed in, but it's also a completely new system of like mixing these different exercises together and certain things that really, if you're just beginning on your Kundalini journey or on your yoga journey, or even just your spiritual awakening, you're just starting to see the reality. You're starting to see the negatives. You don't want to have just this blast of Kundalini up your spine in one session and your third eye just open right then and there, to where you're like, oh no, now I can see everything. I can see spirits. I can see the energies that people are operating from. I can see when people are being, evil. And then that's all you focus on, because your mind wasn't prepared for that experience. Now, if you work through that and you keep going, maybe a year later, you might be like, oh, wow, that was like really a bad place to be in mentally. But now I see how to discern from these energies and people that operate in these energies, and then to go towards the more positive, like loving connection type of energies. So this is both a benefit, and for those that experience spontaneous or rapid awakening, can be a detriment at first, is this third eye awakening. Everyone talks about open your third eye. Everyone talks about it's this and that, and so many things about, the third eye, and do this, watch this video in your third eye, listen to this frequency. And I'm here to tell you that all that stuff is great, and I provide, very precisely tuned frequencies on my different meditations to help you all in your pineal gland, your different chakras, as well as really the Om chanting, that mantra chanting. You're resonating the throat center, but also that M sound is in the nasal cavity, which directly resonates the pineal gland So, I try to share things that are actually things that you can practice every day that work on your third eye and your pineal gland, and then giving you the videos to give you that intuitive awareness that you can start to go out for yourself and discern. Because any guru or teacher or lineage or whatever, tradition of doing the yoga stuff, there really is no way to make it happen. So when you do these forceful exercises, these forceful movements, and you kind of like abruptly like, hey, get moving, you're forcing an energy that you may not be ready to handle. So this is why it's important to have bhakti, or devotion to God, to the Divine Mother as well, to Shakti herself, to let her decide, to be in surrender to that bliss. If you have certain experiences, let them come through. If you experience certain emotions, this is why those that choose to only see the love and light, and I can't feel grief, I can't feel sadness, I can't feel pain, you're literally denying part of your experience in the reality. And even something that just kind of came into my head recently, and I went to look into it because I'm not a Buddhist or anything, but it was the fourfold truths. And I was like, why is this sticking out to me? And the first part of the fourfold truth in Buddhism is that there is suffering, that people suffering. When you go in the streets and someone's hungry, you see that there's suffering. Like, you see that they need help, they need assistance, they need love, they need care. Or when you see, children that are uneducated or uncared for, like, you see that and you feel something inside. So that means you actually have a conscious. That means your actually heart chakra is actually somewhat activated, and you can feel compassion for other life. So you see that there's suffering. That's the first step to enlightenment, basically. To those that say, there's no such thing, you're perfect, everything's perfect, the whole, Crowleyism and, do what you want and all that sort of stuff. Like, no, you're missing the whole point, because you're negating part of the reality and choosing to just be this, be your own God, basically. So let's just get that out of the way. You are divine. You are that being embodied in consciousness, but don't forget your connection to the divine is a journey. It's like a process. It's an ascent. It is an upward journey. The prana, the kundalini going up is an upward journey. So that's why yoga and Tantra is all about reversing this energy, because that's another thing that can happen. Another danger to kundalini is if your energy is going downwards, if you have excess apana. Rather, prana is the upward movement of this energy, apana. And you need both, and you center in the heart, and that's when you're truly, really beginning to get that balance in the heart chakra. The upward and the downward are meeting in the heart, and now you have a continuous stream of energy. So the divine energy is trickling from the crown into the heart chakra, and the root chakra energy, the sexual energy, the willpower is going up in service to the divine, and then they're meeting in the heart chakra to mix in that love and that compassion and that center. So this is just a really big point that I want to, from my own experience, from observing other people on the path of spirituality, from being in different communities and different people that are like, only the good stuff, man. Like, how dare you feel sad? How dare you feel anything less than perfect? And that's so fake. It's so fake. And Kundalini will make you realize this. Like, she'll just bring you to tears for no reason. You're just sitting there meditating, like, breathing, and then some memory like that, trauma that you went through is like ready to be healed, because you're ready to experience that feeling, and then the energy is liberated, Shakti goes up your spine, boom, tears just flow, ecstasy, and you're like just in awe, in love for that grief of that person, or that experience, or even that part of yourself that you're letting die, so this new part can be born, being born again. Like in the Christian tradition, it's a Kundalini awakening. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're taking you through. The rituals, if they were actually taught in the way that, they were meant to be, that would be the experience. But now it's just a ritual. So people say, this is the only way to do it, and if you don't do these rituals, then you're not a good person. You don't have God in your heart. And Kundalini will awaken you to that too. It's like, well, God's in everything. God created all of us. God created this whole thing, and any ritual that man created is always a replication of the divine. So that's why in yoga, we just use the body, the creation of God, made in the image of God. We are made in the image of God. We are children of the Most High. Ye are gods, lower G. All these different scriptures pointing us to the divinity that we are embodied. You don't need some outward ritual, and those things can help. Those things are great. Even in yoga, they have puja and they have ceremony and they have different, things they may offer and all those things. And I'm not against any of these things. I actually love learning from different religions and going through ritual and ceremony and all those different processes, because it's like you realize it's all a spiritual experience, and you want to have that discernment again from the ones that can bring about those, what you could say, demonic energies, rather than the more angelic harmonic energies. So let's just say disharmonic and harmonic, rather than angels and demons and all these, ideas that are still just ideas, until you realize this is a disharmonic energy, and this is what disharmonic energies take you into. This is a harmonic energy where things are working in harmony. Disharmony, no coherence, everyone's fighting, the state of the world, the state of suffering. We see why people suffer, why there's wars, why there's conflicts between religions, all these different things. And that's disharmony. Everyone's in conflict, no one's unifying. And then in harmony, coherence, the energies are working together. You're playing 2 to 3 notes at the same time, and they're all creating a chord. A bigger note is being formed, a symphony, even, if you want to take it there. In our music, we take it there. Make sure you check out our other channel for awesome spiritual healing inspiring music, as well as all the chakra healing and different mantras here on this channel, because we combine a lot of instruments and symphonies to create that harmonic resonance, so we can tune out of the disharmonic and get tuned into the harmonic frequencies of reality, of God's design. Just like the music, that's another thing they change, and that's not what this video is about. But it's like they tuned us to a disharmonic frequency and gets everyone to be on that frequency, and it's like, competition and fight and aggression, the 440 frequency. And then there's all these other frequencies that we find in nature that are perfect geometric structures and all these different things. And there's only a few notes in 440 that really work well together to create that harmony. So I'm not saying it's completely terrible. You can never enjoy regular music. But that's why we tuned the 432 and the 528 and the 396 and the solfeggios, because then we're hitting different mathematic geometric harmonies. Again, we're getting to the harmony. So if you want to avoid the dangers of Kundalini, which is in a state of disharmony, when the left and the right hemisphere and the Ida and Pingala, the 2 channels of energy, are fighting each other, essentially, your lunar and your solar energy, your masculine and your feminine energy. That's another danger. For a guy, nowadays, they feminize guys, and they're like, they want you to be more feminine for some reason. Guys should be masculine. Guys should embrace his masculinity and his sensitivity. But then, only then can he be masculine. Only then can he be supportive, is when he's embraced his emotional state as clarity, as I have control over my emotions and my mind and my life. Therefore, I can lead and be the masculine force that I need to be. And then for the feminine, she's taught to be masculine. She's taught, you're a single boss babe and you don't need no man and you don't need any of that stuff. And that's fine. It's like, not saying a woman does or any of that either, But at the same time, now you're competing with all the other women. Now you're competing with guys even to get through, and that's what the world thrusts us into. So society wants men to be weak and docile, and now women are like rising up and becoming these masculine forces, the divine feminine rising. Another pitfall and danger of this Kundalini thing. It's all the divine feminine. We just need to surrender always. And that's a path, that's a way, and I'm not knocking anyone that lives that way. I'm laughing at myself because I used to be that way. And then I was like, man, I'm a man. Like, I need to have this masculine energy direct so that I can help the women be more feminine, because they're being taught to be masculine. And men are being taught to be weak and not have their own thoughts and not be able to have a conscious opinion of their own reality and the things that are happening in reality. Like, I'm not here to tell you what's reality. I'm giving you my perspective and genuine experience of collecting information and data, bringing it back to God, back to Goddess, and saying, okay, this is all the information we've gathered. What is useful here? What is not? And then I try to make these videos and be as clear of a channel for you all. I don't take credit for this stuff. This is all from connection from our many years in the practice of yoga, of being the body, being the temple, using the body and raising the energy to get to that point where we start to see these things. Like, there is that dissonant consciousness consciousness, that they want men and women, masculine and feminine, to be separate, and then they also want you inside of yourself to be separate. So you have to unite these energies and then embody the spark that you are, in whatever way you feel is best for you. Like I said, I'm not here to change your state of being or your identity or any of that stuff. But think about it. Why do they have people changing their sexual identities? Because they're not comfortable with who they are. They're not comfortable with what they were created to be embodied. So they want to change it, and they want to be this way, and they think that's going to make them happy. But they're suffering. They're suffering inside a new paradigm. It's all flowery and great for a while because, yeah, this is new. This is great. And then they realize it's just another trap. That's what the New Age does to you. That's what the New Age Kundalini does to you too. Oh, it's all bliss, and I'm just blissed out, and I'm so blissful. And then you forget that there are people suffering, and you're like, dude, you just need to bliss out, bro, and Kundalini. That's not a good place to be. I can get kind of intense and fiery about this subject sometimes, and people don't like that. It's because I've experienced this from people that are just tell me to get over it, dude. It's no, don't you know you actually have to feel? You're a human being, you have feelings. God gave you feelings. Don't you know those are good to experience? Don't you know those are healing to experience? Feeling and healing, they're kind of very closely related words. If you noticed, it's real to feel, it's real to heal. So for any of my brothers out there, that feel even if they do sometimes have that more feminine emotional side to them, don't take that as a weakness, bro. That's your strength. Just turn that into your drive and your focus and your purpose. For all my women out there that feel they're made to just bottle up their emotions, they don't have anyone to go to. Feel that stuff, babe. Love yourself. Give yourself that space to just be who you are, to breathe into that beautiful body, to breathe into that beautiful being that you are. And this is when the Kundalini does become blissful, because we're man, there's suffering in the world. I want to help. I want to offer something. I don't want to just sit around and look at people suffering while I'm blissed out. I can't do it. God won't let me do it. I've tried. I've tried to run. I've tried to be fuck it. I don't care about anyone. Yeah, I'll cuss too. I'll say something. I'll try to be so perfect for everyone to have this perfect little identity of me so that, okay, once it's time to do Kundalini yoga, everyone actually has the proper mentality. And it's man, if I don't remember that there's people out there suffering, why would I even do this? If I didn't have it on my heart in the first place to want to help people, why would I get on a video and take time out of my day and talk and connect with y'all and make these mantra meditations and make this music that's not about profanity, that's not about hurting people or violence, but it's about healing and taking our journey and working together and finding the unity in each other, not this disharmonic, disingenuine, fake reality. They got plastic molded reality they got everyone feeding. They got all of us feeding on it. I'm no different, I'm no better, but I'm learning to grow. This awakening helped me learn. So once my Kundalini stabilized and I realized that I have a purpose, I have a reason for this energy. I didn't experience bliss so I could just go off into heaven and leave everybody else in hell. No. Think about Yeshua. Think about Jesus. What did he do? He's I have compassion for them. They're suffering, they're starving, they're sick, they can't see. Spiritually, they can't see, they can't hear. I'm telling them God's inside of them. Here I am. And they still don't see it. And he had compassion for them, and he wept. And he went and wept and prayed and spoke to God. He said, forgive them when they crucified them, when they hated him and spit on him. He said, forgive them, because I see what they're going through. And that's a bodhisattva. That's when we realize not everyone has to do that. Not everyone has to do this. So don't feel oh, you experience a little bit of Kundalini, now you have to go teach everybody. No. That may come on your path, and let it come when it comes naturally. Don't try to force it. So here we are, 11 years down our path of really renouncing the world, really, and already being on our path before that, but not knowing to now consciously, you're always on the path. We only forget. And when we forget, that's when we divide, in division, in separation consciousness, in yoga and unity and coherence. heart-brain coherence, spiritual coherence, left and right coherence, that's when we start actually realizing, like, yeah, there's like a purpose to all this stuff. We're all meant to create a more beautiful planet together. We're meant to create a more beautiful reality together. We're meant to create a more harmonic reality. That's like when we're singing together, when we're chanting together. When we chant together, we create a more harmonic reality because we ourselves are operating in a more harmonic reality. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Hara Hara Ganga, Om Namah Shivaya. When we chant a mantra together, we get in a rhythm and a pulse, and everybody's moving in the same way. Or when music, that's why music is so powerful. You go to a festival and everyone's dancing together and the lyrics are uplifting, and not always, but let's assume we're in the positive. We're manifesting in that fifth dimensional consciousness of true bliss consciousness, which sees it all and rises above. And we're manifesting and everyone's moving together and that energy's rising. Like, that is heaven on earth. That is manifesting this consciousness. And we wonder why that's so powerful, but it's because it's creating harmony between all of us. We're in one rhythm, one sound. In reggae, it's one love. Jah Rastafari, one love, one sound, one heart, one mind. We're all thinking the same thoughts of goodness and thankfulness and love and appreciation for one another. Celebrating different cultures, celebrating all walks of life. The diversity is the unity, not the other way around. And then it becomes one. So, this is just a little video to kind of take you through the journey, some of the different things you may experience. I didn't really plan this out, so it may be a little bit, pretty much all my videos are in the flow in that sense, and sometimes I might bring some notes, or eventually I'll get to more whiteboards and drawing things out for y'all, and this is this and this is that. But I really like just being able to speak as an open channel to y'all. I hope these messages resonate with y'all. I hope that you can find something of benefit. Like I said, make sure to check out all the meditation music. Get some of that harmony and that mantra in your life. If you'd like to be a part of a group where we do that together, we have bi-weekly meditations and also weekly sessions that you can sign up for us for private sessions. But we have a group and Patreon. Check out the links in the description. And my email is there also to get in touch with me. So much love to everyone. Namaste. Stay on your path. As we walk together, we rise higher, we find truth, we find light, we find life, we find grace. Yes, I give thanks.